ਉਧਰ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਨਾਗਰਿਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਨਵੀਆਂ ਫਲਾਈਟਸ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਫੋਰਨ ਅਫੇਅਰ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਫਰੈਂਕੋ ਫਿਲਮ ਸ਼ੈਂਪੇਨ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਹਿਯੋਗੀ ਰੁਪਿੰਦਰ ਕੌਰ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ।
So it is the largest repatriation exercise in Canada history, in peacetime at least. So far we have repatriated about 16,000 Canadians from more than 60 countries and more than about 120 flights already. So it's really a massive exercise because, as you said, we are facing unprecedented circumstances. We're facing airport closure, airspace closure, border closure, restriction in movement, martial law in some countries. But I would say that I am pleased to see that we have been able to repatriate already, like I said, more than 16,000 people from a vast range of countries. Like I say, 66 countries, quite remarkable. And I want to thank everyone. I understand there are still Canadians which are stranded abroad. That's why we are continuing our efforts. If I talk, for example, about India, we have already completed our first wave of flights. We had 8 flights scheduled. 7 have already been completed. 1 is arriving tomorrow. And we will have one from Amritsar over the weekend. And we are already looking at the second wave because we know that we have a lot of our colleagues in different parts of India. The vast majority of our Canadian travelers are in Punjab. So we're looking how we can facilitate their return on a commercial basis. And I can assure you that me and my colleagues are working extremely hard. We know that people are anxious. We know people want to return home. And that's what we're trying to facilitate.
Minister, talking specifically about India, earlier Mumbai, Amritsar, Bangalore and from Delhi, the flights have been scheduled. Is there more airports have been added to the list?
Yeah, initially what we were looking, as you know, our arrangement was with Air India to bring people first from the cities you mentioned to London in England and then onward to Canada. Now we're looking with a different provider that will cover more cities in India because we know we have pockets of people in different places. So that should facilitate the return of Canadian travelers. And for those who might be in a place where, there's really few people, we are working with our allies, the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany. How can we do that together? The challenges we're facing is the volume. This is, like I said, the largest volume we ever had to do. But I'm pleased to say that when I look at our first wave, we have repatriated as many people, perhaps very close to what the United States have been doing so far in the United Kingdom. So we are working together. We are trying to make it easier. I understand, and people have been writing to me. A number of our MPs in the Toronto area, the greater GTA, have written to me. We are fully seized of the complexity. I try to explain them that getting the airplane is usually the easiest thing. Then is to make sure that we would comply with all the domestic regulations. As you know, there are restrictions currently in India about moving from state to state, getting people safely to the airport, applying our health requirements when people board. And also now, as you know, it's the law in Canada that people need to self-isolate. So we are assisting people to make sure they comply with all that. And those who want to come back home, we are trying to help them.
Minister, we understand the situation is challenging, but we have received some concerns, some questions from the Canadians who are stranded in India, and they said that they have not received any information yet, though they have registered on the website link provided.
Well, there might be specific case, but I would say so far we have repatriated more than 2,000 people from India. We have communicated with another 3,000. I receive reports every day. There might be some instances, and for them, I apologize, obviously. We also have another system to contact people. We have a push message on their phone to make sure that people are aware of the latest information. It's a very dynamic and fluid situation. We are confronted in India, but in many other countries, I would say, with challenges. Regulation have been changing. You may have heard that initially the crews were subject to quarantine, and now it's no longer the case. There was also a requirement to provide the manifest of the plane 96 hours before. This rule has been eased now. So every time there is a challenge, it's like a chess game. Every time people put a restriction, we try to find a way to work around, to work with the country. I've been speaking to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India. I've been speaking to people close to the Prime Minister's office in India. we are really trying to find ways, and I would say Canada has good relation with India, and that is paying dividend in this difficult time for all of us.
Minister, there is another concern with the travelers, the price of the ticket and the stoppage in UK, which is the epicenter of COVID-19.
Well, there's two reasons for that. As you know, carriers are less and less carriers are operating internationally. You may know that Air Canada, which was serving, for example, 101 destination, now is down to 3 destinations around the world. So since there was no direct link, and you will recall when we started the first wave of repatriation, there was no carrier from India flying directly to North America because of the quarantine rules in India, which would have required the crew and the pilots to be in quarantine when they came back in India. So that's why at that time we look at other solution. The easiest one was to bring people to London in England and then onward, because we have negotiated an air bridge with the United Kingdom to make sure that Canadian travelers who want to come back home can do so. And the price, I would say, is a reflection of the complexity of operating now. You will have heard that Lufthansa has reduced its flight to about 10%, same thing with Delta. So we're facing unprecedented challenges. And it's also a reflection, you will know that when they fly back to India, they have to fly empty. So if you fly from Delhi to London, you go full, but you have to come back empty. And it's the same thing for Air Canada. When they go from Canada to the UK, they have to be empty. And it's only on the return that they have passengers. So the regulations around the world that have been imposed to protect the health and safety of population are increasing the cost of travel. We are doing what we can. That's why I've been personally involved. I called the CEOs of the airlines to make sure that this was the price would be commercial, at least would be on a break-even basis, so that there's no profit of that. But certainly I appreciate, that's why we put the loan in place to help those families which needed a bit of money to make sure that they can return back home, that we have the $5,000 loan. And we have been working with our mission in Delhi and here in Ottawa to support people. We want to help. We want to help Canadian travelers who have been stranded with no fault of their own. But we're also facing conditions that has never been faced by the world before.
Well, Minister, thank you so much for all the updates, and we appreciate the efforts you and your department is putting in to bring every Canadian back home. Thank you so much and stay safe.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope to see you again in studio very soon. And thank you to my colleagues, the MP from all the GTA area, who have been instrumental in making sure we take good care of our Canadian in India.